Hey, how are you?
Mr. Fritz, you state that over the last 30 years, you have searched to find your biological daughter, who you claim was taken from you as a child. However, just 4 months ago, this 3-decade search came to an end when you found Ms. Agee, whom you believe to be your daughter, on Facebook. You're now petitioning the court to prove that you are indeed her biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Ms. Agee, you say you know exactly who your biological father is and have come to court today to prove once and for all to Mr. Fritz that he is not your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Agee, why are you so adamant that Mr. Fritz is not your biological father?
Well, first off, Your Honor, he's not on my birth certificate. The guy that's on my birth certificate was not my biological father. He was married to my mother when I was born, but I do know who my biological father is. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I started asking questions about who my real father was, and my grandmother was the one who raised me. She told me my biological father was Buster. That's the only person she knew as my biological father. About 11 years old, I was sitting in the living room floor, watching cartoons. A knock come on the door. I went to the door, and it was Buster. At the time, I didn't know it was my father. He asked me, was that Angel? I was like, yes. He was like, is your grandmother at home? I said, yes, she's asleep right now. Later on that afternoon, he come by like 3 times. I had went swimming for the day. So the last time that I was at home, he come by, and I met him. I spent a couple hours with him. He told me he was my dad. He was excited to see me. He was going to be in my life. Well, I didn't see him after that. I think I was 11 years old. He called, and he wanted to be in my life. And I was like, okay, that's fine with me. I had a Christmas play the next day. And he said he was going to come and, come to our Christmas play and, want to be part of my life. I said, that's fine. He didn't show up. I was hurt. My biological father wasn't around. He wasn't in my life. So that hurt me.
And you always believed that that man was your biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you ever try to contact him again?
I did. I was 17 when I had my first child. I got married, and I was pregnant with my second child when I was 18. And I wanted to look for him because I was going to let him know that he has a daughter out here, that I have one grandbaby, and he's going to have another grandbaby. And I just wanted him to be a part of my kid's life. I wanted a relationship with my dad. I wanted my kids to know their grandfather. I wanted that in my life. We went to his house, his sister's house, talked with her. I got pictures of him, but she said that if he's my dad, he will contact me. And I haven't heard from him since, and I'm 35.
He ain't
So,
contacted
Mr.
because I'm your
Fritz-
father. That's the reason he ain't
You
called.
say you're my dad, but if you're my dad, then you would have come looking for me. You say you come looking for me, but obviously you didn't come looking for me because I live in Thomasville, a little town that you can find me. You found me when I was already married under my married name. You didn't find me under my maiden name. My maiden name, you couldn't find me. I live in a small town. I can go in the middle of the town and scream out Danny Fritz, and they're going to hear me. You didn't come looking for me because if you did, you would have found me.
I looked for you for 30 years, Angel.
If you did, you would have found me.
Tell me about this 30-year search and why you strongly believe you are Miss Agee's biological father.
I got sentenced and incarcerated, and when I was being moved from one camp to another, I met a friend of mine. I said, hey, man, when you get back in town, would you run by and let Angel's family know that I've been transferred and where I was going to come see me. After 3 months, I escaped from the penitentiary to go see my daughter, and at 2 months old, I went and seen my daughter. And
I don't remember any
you
of
might
that.
remember these pictures right here.
What are those pictures of, sir?
That's a picture of Angel sitting on my father's lap, and a picture of her sitting with my mother and father when she was
May I see those pictures?
2 years
Bill?
old.
These are pictures of a baby that you say is Miss Agee sitting on your father's lap.
Yes, ma'am. Ask her if that's her. She's sure.
That is me, but I don't have any recollection of this. I don't.
You acknowledge Miss Agee, it's you.
That's me.
When those pictures were taken, she's about 3 years old. She come down and stayed with me, and I was working. And
I don't recall that. I remember my grandmother. I remember staying
and
with
you may
my
not
aunt.
remember it. Now, it has been a long time. Actually, you stayed with me for 5 weeks, and they called up and says, we're going to go and visit one of your family members and wanted you to ride with. And I said, that's no problem. They come and picked you up. I came down there to get you.
remember that.
And when I came there, the trailer was empty. I went and knocked on all the neighbors' doors. Everyone says, we don't know. They moved. We don't know where they're at.
I'm telling you, if you wanted to find me, you could have found me.
Well, I tried, and I couldn't find you.
When you say you tried, Mr. Fritz, how did you look for her?
Okay,
You
when I
went,
went-
knocked on the door and
I went down there to find her. When I got there, the trailer was empty where she lived at, okay? So I went to the neighbor's house. They said, yeah, they moved, but they didn't know where. I went to all the neighbor's house, and no one knew where they had moved to.
If you want to find your daughter, you will not stop. I don't care what anybody says. If my kids are out there and I want to find my kids, I'm going to find them, regardless.
I didn't stop.
Regardless, I'm going to find them.
What was your next move?
Very next move, I went to the courthouse, started searching records. I looked under her family's name. I looked under the name that I knew she was carrying, which was Dial. I looked under that name, and there was nothing in the court records. When I went up there and couldn't find you through your court records and stuff, I went back to the house. I regrouped. Every time I went to visit my family, and that where she lives at, when I went
believe
to
it.
find
I don't
them, we would
believe
go
it.
and look
I
for you.
don't believe it because
Well,
Thomasville's a little town. I'm telling you, people talk. People know people in Thomasville. I'm sorry. You're going to know.
When
I
I
don't need a dad now. I needed one then. When I was growing up, I needed a dad in my family.
Are you gonna do all the
I
talking?
needed that.
Let me
I'm
talk.
telling you how I feel.
well, let me
okay?
tell you how I feel.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Take me back to the day you found her.
The day that I met her, I was sitting at the house, and I was on Facebook, and I just started messing with it. I started looking at relatives, this name, this name, this name. Shauna Angel. That's the name that come up with the numbers of the people I was looking at. And I said, if this is Angel, I says, this is Danny Fritz, please contact me.
You contacted me on Facebook. We were talking. I
Right.
thought you was an old school friend because I didn't even know you were my dad.
Right.
I didn't recognize the name. And then I was shocked. I didn't know what to think because
We were
here
both
you are.
shocked.
I'm 35 years old and you're telling me you're my dad. I'm not. What am I supposed to think?
Well, I'm here today to show you that I am your dad.
And I don't know how you got
and
my
from this
phone
point
number,
on,
but
I'm
you
going to do
called me.
anything at all that
And
you
I
want me to do to help you in your life and your children's life.
You say that, but
I think I've been showing you that, Angel.
no, you haven't.
All right, so Mr. Fritz, you see her and you find her. What has the relationship been like since then?
Well, it started out pretty good. The first day that we talked, she told me she was stressed. I said, what's going on? And she says, my baby daughter's going out for cheerleading. I don't have enough money to get her a cheerleading outfit. I said, all right. She goes, I need $50. I said, let me
I
call you
didn't ask
back.
you for any
let me
money.
see. No, you didn't. You didn't
didn't
ask
ask
me
you.
for no money. I said, let me see what I can do. I said, I'll call you back. I talked to my wife. My wife said, look, that's your daughter, man. I said, all right, you're right. I sent her the $50 for the cheerleading outfit. When I did go to Thomasville and met my grandchildren, and I said, that must be the cheerleader. Angel bowed her head, and she goes,
I did no such.
I'm
I
not
did no
cheerleading
such.
yet. It's going to be a year. But, you know, I spent $50. I sent her to her to get a cheerleading
And if
outfit.
you would have
that she didn't
talked to
get.
me about it and you would have had contact with me after that, I could have told you what happened.
I got a phone that's got over
So,
200
Miss Adri,
text
I have
messages
to
all
ask
about
you
money.
because it's.
That's a lie.
I have
I'll
to
tell
ask
you.
you, Miss
That's a lie.
I
Adri,
got,
Miss Adri,
I got,
Yes, Your Honor.
if you do not believe he's your biological father,
Yes, Your Honor.
why are you so angry?